Is this gonna try to be mean to Tony Hawk? Tony Hawk's legacy goes far beyond landing the 900. In the Sun, Riley shares what it was like growing up with a skateboarding icon. Riley talks about the moment he realized his dad was as famous as Michael Jordan or Tiger Woods, and how he's playing Tony Hawk's Pro Skater before its release gave him a glimpse of how the game would change their lives forever.
I met a gypsy.
Skating just hadn't quite hit in that way yet. Like it had, you know, its boom in the 80s and then it died in the 90s. And then, like you said, I think my dad's game is like, I mean, it was crazy seeing that happen in real time because I saw the prototypes of the game coming home. My dad showing me, like, we'd play them and there would be like no background. It would just be just the skater and the level. And like, and I was like, well, this is cool, a skate video game. And then it was like, I mean, that's like, you know, talk about cultural phenomenon. Like it just, whatever, there's something was happening in the world where everything came together at the perfect time. And it was just like, it might as well be, I don't know, it's like a movie, like a famous movie. Everyone knows the game, you know, it's crazy. I have a lot of respect for my dad because he really stuck to his guns with how he wanted it to be done. And they could have definitely taken a wrong turn and it could have been this corny, I don't know, game. And if you,
because there were a couple skate games after it that were like very arcade.
There's been before and after.
I see. Maybe I'm not target audience, but I feel like if you want to talk about like heavy hitting stuff like Tony's Pro Skater, you got to know your stuff. You got to know how many they are. You got to know that he got rich. You got to know that it changed everything. If you just vaguely touch on it, then it's like, oh man, I don't want to watch it.
I mean, there's Skate, obviously, which kind of became the more like sought after game after, just because the controls were a bit more like akin to how it felt to really
I've
skate.
never heard
like,
Riley talk too much
all the
though,
time,
to be
and
honest.
It's weird. I feel like I know how to
try.
do a trick with my thumb on skate in the same way in the real world. It like translated really well, but I think my dad's game just, if you go back and play them, it's like pretty crazy the stuff they were putting in a game that was that like
you just
famous and popular to like the normal culture. Like they had like Officer Dick and like all these crazy challenges, and like it was just a cool, like I felt like it really stuck to skating's like core roots, and that kind of translated well.
But
when
skate only exists
picked
because
it up.
Tony
I feel
Hawk's
like they
Pro Skater
understood
existed.
skating a lot better. And
Skate wouldn't
I
have
think that was
existed and wouldn't have been good if Tony Hawk's didn't previously exist. You know, you got to respect that. You can't just say, "Oh, skate's way better." You got to say, "Yeah, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater paved the way for skate to actually start existing."
Thing that it did for skateboarding for sure.
That's one thing about skating, is that it had a culture, like a very clearly defined culture, and you didn't have to skate to be a part of that culture, if that makes sense.
For sure. I mean, I think like, because I was around this whole time when my dad obviously got really, really famous to the point where it's, you know, he's like a Michael Jordan, Tiger Woods name nowadays. And then I was there when BAM was becoming BAM because they all skated for Audio Footwear, which was what my dad skated for. And all these people that were like becoming as famous as, you know, household movie stars, like basketball players, whatever you want, football players. And I was just a kid there around for it all because my dad had me pretty young. So I was...
How old were you when that was going on?
Probably would have been like between 8 and 10 when things were really starting to...
So old enough.
Old enough, yeah. I remember like the houses getting bigger, the notoriety, like him getting noticed more. My younger brothers were a little too young, I think, to notice that stuff. But because I mean, the 900 thing was pretty like significant, but that was not even close to what the video game did to like his day-to-day life, you know, because like it's just, that game is like transcended skateboarding.
And in every country.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
How many, just Google how many copies would have got sold of that.
Oh man, I think it's ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be one of... I feel like, Tony Hawk Pro Skater.
Is this guy actually
Grand Theft
Australian?
Auto, Call
Should
of
we
Duty.
research this guy?
Yeah.
Gypsy
You know, like,
Tales.
there's a couple of just huge... Like you said, it's almost like a
staple.
movie, like a
Yeah, it's
Marvel
like a
movie
staple.
kind of thing.
Manscaped, Athletic Greens,
Holy
and
fuck,
Better Health.
bro.
How do I get?
Over $1 billion. That's
How do I
insane.
get in there?
Yeah, I knew it was close to $1 billion.
Wait, what did he say?
Over $1 billion. That's insane.
Did you know that?
Yeah, I knew it was close to.
Well, the series has sold an estimated 1.4 billion copies. That's the series as a whole, though, but still, that is insanely
$1
impressive.
billion. That's a lot of video games.
God damn.
$1 $1 per copy. Wait, what? Wait. 1.4 billion. Tony Hawk's getting more than $1 per copy, right? Wait a second. Hang on a second. Maybe that can't be right. 1.4 billion? How much do we think does Tony Hawk get when he sells the game? You would think he would get a few dollars, not just $1. Tony Hawk shared a lot of the money with the skaters. Yeah, for sure, but he didn't get less than $1 per game. There's no way. What the hell? That's insane. Where did the rest go? To taxes? Imagine paying $500 million in tax. Oh my god. Oh my gosh. $140? I feel like that's old though. 1.4? 1.4 billion? That has to be wrong.
I actually had no idea.
But
I would say he got 5% of wholesale price. That's definitely more than $1. And this is talking about the whole series, whatever. I'm sure he averaged more than $1 per the whole series. There's no way he didn't. While the series has sold an estimated 1.4 billion copies, it petered out in later years, blah, 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 blah. But he has to be billionaire. Hawk speaking on the 9 Club back in 18, he was asked about his earnings, blah, blah, blah. 4 million in the first 3 games. 4 million is a very different number to 1.4 billion sales of games. You know what isn't your income? I understand, right? But I'm saying if Tony Hawk's net worth of his whole career, of everything else that he did, not just the game, is whatever. Let's be generous and say like that article said 140, let's say 250 or whatever, 250 million. But how could he have sold 1.4 billion? There's no way he's getting less than $1 per game. I guarantee you that he's getting more than $1 per game. That's insane. I think the math is not mathing somewhere. There's no way he's getting like 10 cents a game. He's getting at least $1, I think. He has to. Your net worth isn't your income. I understand that. But I still don't think the math is mathing.
it still to this day will kind of trip me out on how famous he actually is, because he is so humble and so mellow, and like at the end of the day he's my dad. Like it's the person that I grew up having, you know, like issues with and good times with, bad times with. Like it's like my dad, you know, when I was being a dumbass, he was the one that had to...
Okay. That makes more sense. But that's not how the article worded it. But it literally says that though. 1.4 billion copies. That simply cannot be right. And estimated. That really can't be right. I don't think that's right. Should we ask ChatGPT? 1 billion is too many. See? I knew it. I knew that was wrong. Google has got me wrong. No video game has ever sold 1 billion copies. I trust that. Look, the best-selling video game of all time selling 300 million copies. I was going to say, 1.4 billion is insane. That doesn't make sense. Rick, right again. Yes, I feel good about that. I knew that did not make sense. I think what it's saying is grossed 1 billion, 1.3 billion. That I would believe. That I would believe more. But someone's got to fact check. Is it Forbes that said that? That is not right. It is! Forbes.com! Can we get a fact check in the comments? No one seems to have shared their thoughts. Sign up to post. Yeah, okay, no. Don't trust ChatGPT. Look, you want to talk to ChatGPT. That other article said no video game has ever sold more than 1 billion copies. Minecraft has sold 300 million. I believe that more than random Forbes article. You're probably right, but never trust AI. Well, let's ask ChatGPT and Grok. We could ask them both. Alright, we'll start slow. Hello, how are you feeling today? I'm feeling sharp and ready to help. Wait, what? 2 responses? I only want 1 response. Audio?
I'm feeling sharp and ready to help. How about you?
Why are there 2 responses? That's so weird. Switch model. Okay. Which video game has sold the most copies? See, look, I told you this is pure cap. 238 million. Which is the best video game of all time? Wait, sorry. That's not what I meant to ask. I meant to ask, which is the best selling PS2 game? Oh, Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, Gran Turismo. You think Tony Hawk's 2 makes the list? Wait, maybe it was PS1? Which is the best-selling PS1 game of all time? Come on, Tony. Tony Hawk's 2. Final Fantasy, Gran Turismo 2, Tekken 3? Damn. Ricky, watch Tony talk about it in this clip. You're probably right, but never trust AI. I believe 1.4 billion for all the games combined. No. Think about all the different systems that it was released on. If Tony Hawk sold 1.2 billion copies, Activision would be vomiting out new skateboarding games, not COD. COD franchise. I don't think 1.5 billion is wrong. It's 5 games, 1.4 billion, so 280 million a game. I think that's wrong. I think it's definitely wrong, and it's more than 5 as well. And it's every console as well. Can it read articles? What should we say? Series. Which video game series has sold the most copies? Mario franchise, 830 million. I told you, no one's hitting a billy. Pokemon is only getting 480. All right, ready? I'm gonna snitch. I'm gonna snitch on Forbes. How do I? This article says Tony Hawk's Pro Skater series sold 1.4 billion copies. Are they lying? Yes. The claim that Tony Hawk's Pro Skater series sold 1.4 billion copies is inaccurate. This must be a misunderstanding or misinterpretation of these numbers. The Tony Hawk's Pro Skater series has been very successful, and its actual lifetime sales are an estimate to be around 30 to 50 million copies across all titles. Based on industry reports and official data from Activision, 1.4 billion figure may have been a typo, a misinterpretation or hyperbolic statement about some other metric, such as revenue in dollars, but even that seems inflated. Boom! Me and ChatGPT are aligned right now. The article you linked also highlights Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2 sold 1 million copies shortly after its release, which aligns with the realistic figures of sales performance. If you're curious, you can dig deeper in the conscious. Boom! Absolutely called it. What a cap article. And Ryan, that's a little bit sad that Riley doesn't even realize that that's wrong. That's a little bit wild. You would think Riley would be a little bit more locked in that like, yo, billion? Hang on. 1.4 billion? Wikipedia says the first game only sold 3.5 million. Come on, new kid. You cannot be saying only 3.5 million for a skateboarding game. You cannot be saying only, okay? 1.4 billion is a ridiculous number. We cannot be saying only. Forbes fake news. It's crazy that ChatGPT tells me that Forbes is fake news.
What are we
I will
talking,
tell you.
Still getting checks?
All right, I'll tell you this. When the fourth game was released, this is just, I'm not going to,
I'm talking in the
I don't
grand
want to
scheme
go
of-
into
I know.
detail of this, but I will
Yeah,
say,
I've
I
seen
will
this
give you
before.
this.
Okay.
When the fourth game was released, my main contact at Activision asked to have lunch with me in LA when I was there one day. And
that's a good sign.
he's like, yeah, he's not the head, but he was definitely the guy overseeing our games.
Okay.
And he's like, here's what's happening. We're releasing the fourth game. The last three are still in the top 10 of sales. One is going into, I forgot what they call it. It's like classics mode, which means they sell at a certain price, but way more volume. Oh. He's like, so things are way bigger than you ever thought. And he handed me a check for $4 million.
Oh,
That happened.
Wow.
that was just for meeting with you that day.
Well, it was my whatever it was. I don't remember.
Drumbook is gifted 1 sub.
Yo, thank you, Drumburgers. Here's the thing that I find interesting. This is what I used to think about as a kid. Is like the thing that I know a lot about is skateboarding, right? Skateboarding, I'm expert. I know many details. I used to watch the news in Australia, and sometimes skateboarding would be on the news. And I watch and see the article about skateboarding, and I'll be like, well, that's wrong, that's wrong, that's wrong, that's wrong, that's wrong. Very easy to point it out that it's wrong. But then I think in my mind, I say, I'm an expert about this, and I see how blatantly wrong they got all this other stuff. But then when I watch the other things, when I'm not an expert, I just say, oh, okay, that's cool, that's cool, that's cool. The expert of that thing is probably saying, whoa, that's super wrong, that's super wrong, that's super wrong. I always thought that was funny. So like now when I read a Forbes article, I'm never going to ever believe it ever again. 1.4 billion, get out of here. This article is 4 years old. No one ever bothered to say that doesn't make sense. And now Riley brought more attention to it. That's why peer review is important. That's why AA is kind of tricky. Yeah.
Be there times with that.
I'm kind of surprised that
Like you said, it's almost like
Riley
a staple,
didn't
like
say
a
anything
Marvel
yet.
movie
Staple.
kind of thing. Holy
Yeah.
fuck, bro!
Over $1 billion. That's insane.
Did you know that?
Yeah, I knew it was close to $1 billion. That's a lot of video games.
God damn.
Did he?
That's
it's
fucking
close to $1
crazy.
billion?
I actually had no idea.
But
Neither
it
did
still
I.
to this day will kind of trip me out on how famous he actually is, because he is so humble and
Yeah.
so mellow, and like at the end of the day he's my dad. Like it's the person that I grew up having, like issues with and good times with, bad times with. Like it's like my dad,
I always
being a
I always got the impression that Kid Riley was the kid where my dad is my hero, and then he's like, oh wait, my dad actually is everyone's hero too. But then I feel like I'm basing this based on nothing, right? But I always felt like adult Riley was a little bit like kind of like Rocky Balboa or whatever, that movie where the son is like, I'm trying to get out of your shadow, I don't want to do stuff with you. I always kind of got that like vibe a little bit from Riley. I think it's cool that he was like, I'm going to be a skater and I'm going to be pro for someone that's not related to you. I thought that was cool. He's kind of like earning his own. But I always got that sort of that Rocky Balboa vibe that he was like, not bummed, but just like maybe struggled with it. And I feel like the fact that now he's dating or married to with a kid, the which person was it? Kurt Cobain? Kurt Cobain's daughter. I feel like they probably bonded over like, damn, my parents super famous. Oh yeah, mine too. I feel like they probably bonded over that.